Two Sides, The Carry-On Circle. Chapter 12. Like a Villain. Salia threw the car in park as she ran up to her family's place. Gabriel dropped his spoon into his soup once the door swung open. "I hija me assustaste." Gabriel gasped. "Sorry Dad, I didn't mean to frighten you." "What are you doing coming in like that?" Salia raised an eyebrow. "Because I used to live here?" "Come on, we are going grocery shopping. We need to get you out of the house." "But what if the bounty hunters come back?" Gabriel asked. "Marcos's buddies are down in the parking lot. We will let them know to phone us if anything happens." "What if Antonio comes by when we are here?" Salia reassured. "He won't, and if he did I would have something to say about it." A couple hours went by with nothing happening. It's almost like Gabriel jinxed himself though, because right as the clock struck 12 the phone rang. His shaky hands held the phone and Salia motioned to answer. Right as he pushed answer, the call ended. "That's not good," he said. "It's okay, don't freak out, I'm sure it's nothing." "They'll find nothing," Salia said in a stern voice. Gabriel reached in his pocket and pulled out a white pill. "Absolutely not, you're not doing that here." "How does that make me look like a good daughter when my dad is getting high in the store?" Gabriel threw it on his tongue without a second thought. "How is the familia?" "Well, my kids are great, the husband is great, we were all great in Mexico when we didn't have to deal with this Antonio bullshit. They ask me, 'Mama, why are you so stressed out all of a sudden?' Little do they realize it's their beloved uncle who they think is so innocent." "Lower your voice, sweetie." She laughed. "Lower my voice. It's not like everyone around here hasn't been giving us dirty looks already. The familia down in the village wishes Antonio was behind bars already." Gabriel put his hand to his forehead. "I'm tired, I think I'm ready to go home." Salia loaded the groceries onto the belt and muttered something to herself. As they got back to the complex, Marcos's buddies were still outside working on the car. They motioned for them to come over. "Those ops were here again. I tried calling, but they snatched my phone before I could answer. They knew we called you but saw you weren't home. They said something about going over to Salia's," one of the men said. "Great, now I have to deal with this. I'm not going home yet. They can hang out all they want but nobody is there to answer to them." Salia scoffed. A couple hours had passed. Salia thought she would try her luck with the bounties being gone. Her car was pretty recognizable with being associated with her brother's clan. Pitch-black tint and blinding rims made her stand out like a sore thumb. As soon as she turned the corner she saw two big black SUVs surrounding her house with people in the street. "Shit, we need to get out of here," Salia whispered to her husband. "But why? I thought you were tired of this." Salia whipped a U-turn in one of the driveways. "Yeah, but that doesn't mean I'm ready to deal with it on my own. I can be all talk, but when it comes down to it I'm not ready to let go of my brother. It's getting too real." Her husband gripped onto the seat. "Slow down Salia, it's going to be okay. We have to get far enough where we can lose them." She looked into her rearview mirror to see one of those black cars following close behind her. "Damn it," she cried and turned into a dead-end road. "I can't avoid this any longer." Salia's heart raced as a masculine figure and a flashlight approached closer to her car. She slightly opened the door with her hands up with the white flag. The man reached for his radio, chased down the car, and now I'm sitting with Antonio's sister at the dead end by Somerville Road. He opened the door all the way. "Step out of the car, Salia, this has gone on too long." She watched as Dewey shined his flashlight into her husband's face. "My dad will be on the way shortly," Dewey said. "Salia, where is your brother?" Scott yelled as he hopped out of the car. "Scott, I don't know. I have been in Mexico for the past month." Beth chimed in. "Then why did your phone number say it was out of service when we tried to reach you?" "My phone doesn't work outside of the States. I let Antonio's bondsman know that, but I guess he didn't relay the message." Scott responded. "He most certainly did not, but listen, we found check and prescription paper in your trash, which is public domain. Plus your neighbors said Antonio had been around during the time you were gone." I made it clear he was not welcome in my home or in the neighborhood. Salia defended. Well, look how far that got you. Beth snarked. Listen, I am trying to work this out and I only found out what's going on when the authorities were calling me non-stop. Salia said. Have you spoken to your dad? Scott asked. And you never answered my question on why you were driving so crazy if you were innocent. Dewey chimed in. I talked to my dad yesterday and he told me about Marcos getting arrested and I said we need to put an end to this. I have always taken the blame for so many of my family members and I have had a clean record. I am tired of saving my younger brother's ass all the time. My dad knows more about this than I do. I have kids I need to take care of. I don't want to be a part of this. Salia's husband glanced at her with her pants being on fire. She stood strong and looked them dead in the face. Beth shrugged, okay, let's just take her over to Gabriel's then and let them talk it out. Her husband sighed as she got back in. Why would you lie? You literally just came from your dad's place. You're digging your grave deeper. I know, but it's hard not to lie. I've been doing it for so long and been covering it up with the good girl act. Just be careful. I don't want to lose you because you're protecting your brother. Salia was leading the pack. Pulling up to the condo complex and unlike before the Mendoza house was completely dark. As soon as Gabriel opened the door, Salia shook her head. Papa, no podemos seguir viviendo así. Antonio has put us through hell and back, so it's time to let him go. Star. There was a silence after the bounty hunters left. Salia was the first to speak. Dad. Salia sighed. Tricky was a part of the family. What's done is done. You know where Antonio is then. Because if he was still at the ranch you wouldn't have given them the address. You aren't even better. Gabriel yelled. You were lying to their faces and continued to protect him. Besides, Tricky isn't and will never be blood. Salia looked him dead in the eyes. The next time they come in here I'm telling them I'm done. I choked when I was actually thrown into the fire. It's an instinct to protect family no matter what, even if it's the same person all the time. I'm sticking to my original word.